With great pleasure, I welcome every one of us to this event. And on behalf of the president, the founder of this organization, in person of Omolola Adegoke, I welcome us to this event. We call it African Youth Scenario. So it's a webinar we organized in partnership with YMCA Nigeria. And before we delve into this program, I'm going to tell us some basic rudiments which we're going to guide our thoughts as regards our purpose of gathering tonight. And I believe at the end of this engagement, we're going to have a wonderful deliberation. Why are we here? We are not here because there's need for us to be here. Though there's need for us to be here, but we are here just to have a good deliberation as regards some of the policy that guides our activities as an organization. And this of the recent, I got to know that we have a document in Africa that guides the developmental process of our dear continent. We only know about SDG goals, and until like a few weeks back, that's when I got to know that there is a document in Africa that ought to guide our own developmental process. And as we know as individuals, let me say those who are in academics, you don't use a document that is far-fetched. You use the one that is very close and you try to domesticate it. For instance, we can use the United Nations projection for Nigeria. So the only one that you can use that is acceptable as far as Nigeria is concerned is that from the Nigerian population census. What I'm trying to say is that this discussion we are having tonight is a two-way thing. The first thing is that we want to create an awareness for people to know more about this document. And also we want to review it. African Union in 2015, they had an engagement, and during that period, they celebrated 50 years of independence across Africa, which means that's the period whereby we don't have, most African countries are being free from their colonial masters. And when they had this, during this gathering, they now had a projection or have formulated a document that's going to guide the developmental process of Africa for the next 50 years. And that's why they tagged that document, Africa We Want. And now they have its Agenda 2063, which means once the document started from 2000, they projected for the 50 years. So, and when you have a projection into 50 years time, that is where the name, where the document got its name from, Agenda 2063, which means by 2063, how should Africa look like? And this program, like every other program, is more or less like a long-term plan. And for the next 10 years, they develop a 10 years plan just to measure the progress of this. And when we are looking at the 10 years plans from 2013 down to that's going to be 2022, which means this 10 years plan Africa is expecting just the pilot phase of this policy is going to lapse by 2023, which is very, very near. And during this 10 years plan, they mapped out some seven aspirations, which encompasses all the sectors of the economy. And one of these, and under these aspirations, they map out different goals, like what they really want, and it was spelled out. And under this, they have different and series of flagship programs. Let me digress a little bit. One of the flagship programs is that by 2023, that should be something we call silencing the gun. It's one of the flagship programs that they want to embark upon. What is silencing the gun? It's just like they want to be sure that throughout Africa by 2023, there won't be civil war, there won't be any cause for us just to be having any itch. And like last week, most peace building organizations in Africa, they had a gathering just to review these processes by the African Union, because at the moment, African Union is yet to domesticate YPS, that's Youth Peace and Security Documents enacted by the United Nations. And as a youth-led organization, we can't just be operating in a vacuum. So some of these documents are very, very important for us to operate, and we need just to be reviewing them just to know that, okay, what we are doing, I'll stay in line. So just to cut the long story short, in 2018, YMCA Africa embarked on a project, and that project is just for them to, like I said, the document is for Africa, and it's meant for Africa. So YMCA is a global organization that cuts across all the soil of the world. And their chapter in Africa, they embarked on the project in 2018. And the project is that they want to track the progress of this African youths of this Agenda 2063, and they tagged that project African Youth Scenario. African Youth Scenario. As God will have it, in the next 50 years, only God knows where some of us will be. But the essence of, for the importance of us tracking this document is just for us to be sure that are we getting that African that we really want. And when they embarked on this project, there are some people, we call them futurists, and they don't embark on this project alone. They try to project into the future based on the current happenings in Africa. And they came up with 3 scenarios. And the first one, we have the green horizon. The second one, we have the blue horizon. And the third one, we have the red horizon. So as time goes on, I will invite the speaker, one of the ambassador from YMCA Nigeria, who is going to do justice to this discussion. And why are we really concerned as an individual, as an organization? We need to be very sure that these 2 pillars that we uphold in this organization is very important when it comes to societal development. We're talking about the education, we are talking about the health. So like these 2 pillars are very, very instrumental in our society. So we want to review this document as an other organization that is youth-led. We are also adding our voice to some of it. So at the end of his presentation, we have some questions that will guide us. And I believe as time goes on, from our professional point of view, we have medical experts in the house, we have educational experts in the house. Though we ought to share a video with us, but it's unfortunate that at the moment we won't be able to. But I will be sharing the screen us our guest, co-national directors. I welcome Mr. Israel Ojaji.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Timothy, for the amazing briefing. So fantastic. It's making the discussion quite amazing. All right, so good evening, everyone. I'm Odiajo Israel. I am one of the YMCA World Ambassador and also a subject to citizen ambassador for Africa. And I am a member of the YMCA of Nigeria. So in 2018, I will ensure that this section is very brief so that we can do more of the talking. My work here is to ensure that we are together and we understand 2 major things we're doing. We are trying to create enough awareness about the project we went through in 2018. From 2018 to date, it's quite huge. So we want to look at what we've done and seek young people's thoughts around what we're doing. Thank you, Mr. Sadiq, for welcoming me. I appreciate that. All right, so I know the screen will be up in a short while, and I will speak across some of the things that Mr. Timothy have said. All right, so the African youth scenario,
everyone, can you see the screen? I've shared the screen. Please, can you see it? If you can't, just let me know so that I will reshare.
Yeah, I can see the screen. So,
all right. So others, please, if you can see the screen, just drop it in the chat box. That's yes. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sadiq. I got your feedback. You have the floor again. Sorry for that interruption.
It's fine. You can help with this slide now. So you can help with my slide now.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so as we are waiting, like he said, we are working through the African Union aspiration. There are 7 key aspirations from the African Union. So this 7 aspiration is actually, like he has said, it is for Africans. So, and we expect that the African does most of those things. So this is the 2016 vision. Agenda 2063 vision is by the African Union vision is to integrate prosperous and peaceful African driven by its own citizen and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. So our major focus as African is to ensure that African is prosperous, African is peaceful, and we have a system that is able to manage itself. So the following are the Agenda 2063 aspirations. Like I said, one of them is that a peaceful and secured Africa. We have a prosperous African based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. We are all used to the sustainable development goal. It's one of the aspirations of Agenda 2063. an integrated continent, politically united and based on the ideas of Pan-Africanism and the vision of African Renaissance. African Renaissance talks about rebirth of Africa, the new African we want, irrespective of the abnormalities that we've experienced in years. An African of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and the rule of law. A peaceful and secured African. An African with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, values, and ethics. About a few weeks ago, BBC was posting something about, I don't know if familiar was, I got that message about, I've forgotten this man that became the African Bank governor. Additional, yes, additional. There was a post like that that was trying to tarnish that man's image from BBC. So the guys has to wake up and say, no, this one belongs to Africa. So you cannot just tarnish the image of that person that way. You understand? That is the African we are looking up to. That we have common heritage. We have values, ethics. We put it on high order. It doesn't matter what people are saying. We uphold what we believe in. An African where development is. Thank you. An African where development is people's driven, very important, unleashing the potential of its women and youth. An African as a strong, united, and influential global players and partner. So these are some of the key aspirations, the 7 major aspirations of Agenda 2063. So that's some of the things that we've been working, trying to build our space around it, trying to do projects around, trying to do programs around. Please, you can move down, Mr. Timothy. So just like we said, this was the conference we had in 2018 in Ethiopia, and we have about 45 young African that was in that program, and also we have the AU partners also in that event in Ethiopia in 2018. You can move on there. We have 46% to be female, so we're trying to ensure that everybody is carried along. We have both non-YMCA member and YMCA member at that event. You can move on, sir. So that program was called the Future Search and the African Future Building Scenario. So it was more like the young people came together to look at the future of Africa with that aspiration, with that vision, with that Agenda 2063 vision. That was what we worked with in that conference. So this is a breakdown of the people that were in the conference in that future building scenario. We have 45 youth participants. We have 3 experts from 35 countries, and we had 2 of us that represented Nigeria in that conference. You can move, sir. Okay, so just like I explained, we had diversity of several people in that conference. We have both YMCA and non-YMCA organizations. Just the same way we are partnering with Hope for Charity. It's the same way we had quite a number of people in that conference room thinking for African and thinking as one. So we have religion, we have different diversity of people with different beliefs that were in that conference. Like I said, we have 46% of Africa. All regions of Africa was covered. We have the eastern part of Africa, the western part. Every part of Africa was represented in that. So it's a broad meeting for about 4 days that we had in Ethiopia. You can move, sir. All right, so after all the discussion, because at every of the conferences like that, every of that kind of events, we're just coming up with our own works, by our own communique, because we're looking at the future of Agenda 2063. So we came up with what we called African youth scenarios. So we add these scenarios in 3 forms. So we have the blue scenario, we have the blue orange. Good. So we have blue. We have blue scenario. We have red scenario, and we have green scenario. So in these scenarios, we were able to come up with stories that makes it more easier for us to understand. Mr. Timothy was saying the other time, but apologies that we cannot show the video because it's going to take much of our time, and we really want to make this as brief as possible. But he has the link. You can, at your leisure time, Please don't move yet. At your leisure time, you can take time to look at the scenarios. It's just a way to express all of these items. So the blue are those things we desire to see in Africa. They are the things we desire to see in Nigeria. So all of our discussion, like I said, all of those countries that was represented the other time, we are having this same kind of webinar across all of them. So it is something like every African country is presently doing stuff like this. So we are doing Nigeria version. I was part of this Zimbabwe guys. We have in Togo, we have in Kenya, we have in all of the African countries where the YMC is present. YMC is present in about 120 countries in the world. So we've covered quite a number of places. The same way we're getting feedback from Nigeria, and this is like the 10th webinar we'll be having for this section. We'll be rounding up early next week because we have quite a number of sections. We've gotten feedbacks, and I know that tonight again we'll be getting feedback from amazing young people in this on board here. So the Blue Horizon has about 18 action points. You know, I just need you to look at some of those things. These are some of the things that we desire to see in Nigeria. These are some of the things we desire to see in Africa. So your thought will be, is this achievable? If no, why? You understand? And if yes, what is the future? What are the actions you think we can take? So these are some of the questions we'll be asking at the end of this presentation. I'm just preparing your mind across. Does this look real? Can this happen? You know, just some of the things that we will look at. So the Blue Horizon has the improved health facilities in rural areas. We have more trained personnel. We have manageable populations. You know, that more trained personnel was one of the things Mr. Timothy will be a witness. We just finished a training for young people in like an hour ago. You know, these are some of the things we desire. We want. Look at what Nigeria is turning into. We want a lot of people that have been skillful. So what we are doing in our organization is to ensure that we skill up people with tools, with skills that we make them stand out, you know. So, but I know you're also going to discuss. I'm just giving you a bigger picture of our discussion. So, advanced robotic processes, low mortality rate, high-tech medications, you know. I have a team because I'm a tech guy. So for me, I feel already these desirables is already finding space in Africa and even Nigeria. Free healthcare, improved health institutions, access to youth-friendly facilities, improved security rights and health, improved sexual rights and health policy, new family structures, increased tolerance, increased equality, more independence, improved laws and human rights, unity among social structures. We can move on now, sir. So these are some of the bullet points from the blue. Like I told us, the Blue Horizon speaks about the desirables in Nigeria and in Africa. So we move to the Red Horizon. We're talking about the unhealthy productions. These are some of the things that we don't want. They are the undesirables. We are seeing them in Nigeria. We are seeing them in Africa, but we really don't want them. We don't want them. Unhealthy productions, rise of deaths, disturbance of urban cities, high increased crime rates, stimulation, overcrowding, increase in mental health cases, higher demand for housing. You know, we're already seeing all of that at the moment in Nigeria. Higher cost for housing, irrelevance of jobs, law violating human rights, increased migration, more extremism, loss of family values, separation, more of war, discrimination, more guns, more violence. We can move on now, sir. So these are some of the undesirables. So we'll be talking about the future right away. That is where the discussion will start from our end over there. So Green Horizon talks about the innovation, the possibilities for the future. So all of the things that are here, they are the things we want to say in the future, you know, though we are seeing some of them already, but quite no, you know, it's a long, like Mr. Timothy say, it's a long time agenda, but we need to always cross-check and see if we are in line. Some young people are already done the work. So it's our own work to now say, is this going to fly? Is it going to happen at the end of the day and all of that? So that's exactly how the process looks like. So some of the futuristic thoughts of this horizon, one of them is chameleon flight, that is ability to change your race, zombies bringing life back to dead organism. That's funny. A word robot button, hibernation mode, by choice, that is no physical end of life, virtual hospitals, eradication of the varied and new forms of pregnancy, metal organs operation, cloning. So all of these theory origin at those things that YMCA in partnership with the African Union Commission came up with, and we are thinking with this flight. So the only way to cross-check that or evaluate what we've done is to get young people's thoughts about the work that have been done so far. So right away, we'll be moving straight to the part where I'll begin to get feedback. I know Mr. Timothy is taking note of the things that we'll be saying from now. So this is the picture of some of us at the conference, and this is just some of the things that happened. A breakdown just to explain more about the section. So we can move now. We can move. This is just a pictorial representation of that same conference that we said in 2018. You can move, sir. So like we said, we're supposed to see some videos, but because of our time and because we know many of us is already getting late and we want to prepare for one or two things tomorrow. Tomorrow being for the Christian guys and even the Muslim guys, we want to prepare for it. So the first question is, what do you think about the data that has been presented? So when I say the data that have been presented, the theory the African Union agenda, vision, the African Union aspirations. So what are your thoughts? Like, please, there is no wrong answer. Every thought have been documented and will be sent to our head office for Africa in Kenya. You know, so that's exactly how it works. So every thought is important to us. So I believe Mr. Timothy is taking note of quite a number of things. All right, so that's the first question. What do you think about the data that has been presented to you? So if you want to say something, you can just lift up your hand. So from there, we can just pick it up. Anyone?
Okay.
Please, your answer. Okay, I see hand.
A hand is up. A hand is up. Okay. So let's take that hand first.
Okay, great. Okay, Mr. Iyeri Farmer. Pardon me. Edwin. You have the floor, sir.
So Edwin, you can just unmute yourself and
Mr. Timothy, please, Mr. Timothy, please take note of the point so that you can send the document back
Hello?
to me.
Can you hear me now?
From Hope to Charity. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, Edwin, we are hearing you talk.
Yes. I want to put little highlights, especially the that talks about free healthcare number 9. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you.
So I think in some certain countries in Africa, especially some African countries that are stabilized, like the South African country, they can be able to achieve this free healthcare. But for a country like ours here in Nigeria, I think it's going to be a big problem, such as government adequate funding. So I believe that this Blue Horizon is a very, very big matter here about achieving this free healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Timothy, I believe that you're taking notes because you sent the document to me as contribution from Hope for Charity. Thank you. Okay, the last speaker, can we have you now?
He said?
The last, somebody was saying something before you were raising. I noted your pointer. So somebody was saying something before. Yeah, the last speaker. So you can we have you?
Yeah. I would like to say that the whole arrangement, the whole setup we have here is highly commendable. And then talking about the items on the green scenario, I believe they're all achievable. I, as a person, I believe everything is possible. However, we have one issue in Nigeria. Oh, sorry, in Africa, so to say. Yeah, we have one issue in Africa, and that issue is the issue of leadership. So, someone will say leadership is the business of everybody, and I will say, yes, that's true. But we also know that when it comes to leadership, the distribution of power, the distribution of authority is not the same. The amount of power embedded in the ordinary citizen to act and to create change is not the same with the amount of authority and power embedded in the president or in the legislature. So when we talk about leadership, that is why it is most times, when we talk about leadership, most times people tend to look at those in political offices. Why? Because of the amount of power and ability embedded in them. I know ordinary citizens can also do something, but there is always a limit to which we can go. Take for example, what NGOs have been doing, what individuals have been doing. They have been trying, but then when you look at their effort, there is always a limit to their effort. Why? Because there is always the amount of power they have. There is always that limit to the amount of power they have. So one issue we will need to resolve in Africa generally is leadership issue. So if we resolve leadership issue, everything is possible. Now, even if we want to be better than the best country currently in the world, which I might not know which country might be that, but let's just imagine the best country in the world, and we want Africa to be better than that country in 50 years' time. We can achieve it, but first of all, we need to fix leadership. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That is well taken. All right, so the second question is looking at data that has been presented to us, what is the future of Nigeria and what is the future of Africa? That's the second question. What is the future of Nigeria and what is the future of Africa? Any comment, please? All right, Mr. Timothy, your answer.
All right. Good evening once again, everyone. Organization YMCA for this laudable project that would track this document. I want to start from the first question before I delve into the second question. And under Blue Scenario, one of the aims is to have a youth-friendly facilities, health facilities, but there is something that is missing. And we are talking about an environment that should be inclusive for all. And I believe though one of the documents cater for the children in terms of reduce the mortality rate, but we don't give priority to people living with disabilities. That is PWD. So I believe you can just help us to look in that aspect, like our health system should be very, very inclusive to all. And people living with disabilities are often being missed out in some of our plans. And down to the second question, and judging, like, is a two-way thing. Is it that we see ourselves in that future that we really want, or we see ourselves in that future that we don't really want? For instance, COVID-19 exposed a lot of gaps in our health sector in Africa, Nigerian inclusive. So which means there's still a lot for us to do to achieve some of these things. Like Udeme said while he was speaking, he talks about leadership, and there is aspect that we need to get ourselves right. Let me share one of the view from one of the video, because I've been opportunity to be at this program on different platforms. And one of the video talks about a girl that was willing to study. She has to leave a domain, work distance for her to have access to education. And despite this, at the end of the day, she was achieve her dream. some of these things are very, very instrumental. At the moment, a lot of things are serving as impediments for people to get to where they want. So at the moment, Nigeria, we are not yet there. And it's a two-way reverse. And if care is not taken. So that's just my own little contribution.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other opinion? Any other opinion? What's the future of, based on the data that have been presented to us, what is the future of Africa? What is the future of Nigeria? As we look at Agenda 2063. Another opinion? We'll move to the next question. The next question is, if you are to add to the scenario, what will you add? If you are to add to the scenario, what will you add? Is there something you feel is missing in any of them? Maybe in the red scenario, is there something you think should be added to it? In the blue scenario, is there something you think should be added to it? In the green scenario, so like I told us, the blue stands for the desirables, the green stands for the future possibilities, and while the red stands for the undesirables. So if you are to add to the scenario, is there something you think is missing and you feel that it is important that we update in that list? Please do well to reach out. Can we hear you, please? Comments, please.
Okay. Yeah, like I said when I spoke the first time, I spoke about leadership. So I was expecting that in the scenario, we are going to have an objective that will address the issue of leadership processes.
Okay.
Leadership processes.
Okay.
So, for example, how do we select our leaders? Let's take Nigeria as a case study. You and I know that currently, as I speak, the people do not have power to select their leaders. I know majority of us will agree with me that what we have as electoral system is not a system that gives power to the people. It's a system that has been badly maxed. It has been badly hijacked by the politician. It's badly manipulated such that votes do not count. So I think we should have an objective of delivering a credible leadership process in Africa.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that brilliant update. Thank you. Mr. Edwin, we can hear
you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. I just want to add a little again at the story one, Blue Horizon. I think I'm not seeing anything like good environmental system there, because we understand right now that there's a lot of hazards in the environment due to uncleanliness and due to other environmental factors. So this should be one of our big problem here, especially in Africa here. That should also be added and put more interest to see how we can keep the environment to be able to mitigate hazards that are within the environmental system.
Thank you very much, sir. I believe that Mr. Timothy is taking notes. So Mr. Timothy, over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. If I want to add to this, this is what I'm going to add. I believe the first scenario, that is the Blue Horizon, talks more about health. But as a youth-led organization that we have, we worked on two pillars. The first one is health, the second one is education. So I observed going through these three scenarios,
there is no peak point as regards our education sector. So I believe the document is more silent when it comes to education, but it talks a lot about health, it talks a lot about peace and security, but education is also silent. And another factors that really germane that we need to give a due consideration, that is economy. And one of the flagship program of that document we are reviewing today is talking about Africa free trades, whereby across Africa there will be a free trade that will be like, we are going to be operating a common system, but it's one of the flagship program of the document, but some of these scenarios are yet to look into the possibilities, or maybe it's going to affect Africa positively or negatively. Whether we are, no NGO, like whatever you are working on, if the economy is not favorable, so it's just as if you are dancing back. It's just as if you are merry-go-rounding what you're advocating for. So this document is silent as regards education and economy. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that. Any other comment? If you had to add anything to this scenario, what will you add? I've not had any female to speak since. Can I hear one of our ladies in the room say something? Ms. Joan, can we hear from you? I think I was seeing your face the other time, so I think I can hear from you, if you don't mind. Mr. Kayode, what are your thoughts? Mr. Kayode, Judge, can I hear something from you? What are your thoughts about this scenario? Do you think it's achievable? Just say yes or nothing.
Yes, it is achievable. It is achievable. My network has been quite bad. It's raining.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you so much.
Heavily, yeah. Pardon me. I really didn't follow up while you were giving your. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Like, I really didn't follow up with your presentation, so I didn't really get.
Okay, it's fine. It's
I would appreciate
recorded.
if
You
you
can
can
always
get
have access
perhaps a
again.
copy of that.
Yeah, sure, you will.
Right,
Mr.
thank you
Timothy
very
has
much.
everything. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. I don't know if it's a Miss or Mr. now. Mr. Kanayo Olumona, can I hear something from you? Do you think this vision, this agenda is realistic? What are your thoughts? Ms. Joan, are you back with us? Do you think this is achievable, Ms. Joan? Pardon me if I'm not calling the right way. But now I've seen your face a few moments ago, so I know. So it seems Kanayo is not with us at the movement. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so the final question is any other comments?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, it's very, very achievable.
Okay.
I have no issue with network. That's why it takes me time to talk.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Your thoughts are noted. So the final question is any other comments? Is there something you want to talk about? Anything as we close this discussion from my side there? Any other thing, anything you think we should add, anything you think we should remove? Your advice for us, your observation, any comment in general?
Okay. First, I would like to say again that this is a good engagement and is highly commendable. I, as a person, I got to know about the Agenda 2063 in 2018. That was the first time I got to know about it. I still have it in my system here. I still have the document in my system. And I'm impressed that a movement like this to create awareness about the document is coming up, because over the years I've been worried that SDGs are so popular, but the agenda CC 2063 is not popular at all. In fact, if you go into, say, University of Ibadan, for example, and ask 100 students, are you aware of Agenda 2063? Hey, you might be shocked to know that 95 will tell you no. So I want to say that as Africans, very important, as Africans, we need to begin to respect our own originality. We need to begin to push for what is ours. We need to begin to see what we have as superior. We need to begin to deal with that inferiority mindset that our colonial masters impress in our minds. We need to do away with that inferiority mindset. We need to rise up and then exalt what we have. We need to rise up and project what we have. We need to speak. We need to affirm on what we have. It is until we say yes to what we have and promote it that the world will reckon with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zita. I appreciate that so very much. So on that same note, I want
Mr. Odeme, sorry.
Okay, I think I'm seeing there. Okay, Mr. Odeme, thank you very, 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 very much. You have been fantastic. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. I want to appreciate, on behalf of the National Executive of the YMCA Nigeria, I want to say a very big thank you to the Hope for Us charity for partnering with us in having this section. Just like Mr. Odeme said, that's one of the things we're trying to do about Agenda 2063 is to make it known so that it won't be those guys when they will not, they will never heard about it, and they will be the one to implement most of the actions. So we want to thank you for being a part of a pioneer to this, to ensure that the Agenda 2063 aspirations are well spread out to young people across Africa. You know, we are very grateful for being a part of this. And I also want to appreciate everyone for finding out time to join this section. Like I said, this is like, we are already rounding up. We started this virtual tour since first week in August, and by God's grace, next week, we'll have reached about 18 different, organizations. So I want to thank you for being a part of this. We are sincerely grateful that God has made this happen through your fantastic effort. I must commend that, Mr. Timothy, that you are a great leader and you are really doing amazing stuff. It's my prayer that the Hope for Us charity will continue to grow from strength to strength. So thank you very much for having me this night. I'm so grateful. Once again, I'm Adajo Israel from YMCA Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much, Istra, for that wonderful presentation and for taking observations and contribution as regards the documents. And there's something, while he was presenting, make mention of something we call a fact sheet. So that was produced. So I have the link to the document. So I'll be dropping it for us on the platform so that we can have access to it and peruse it at our own leisure time. So these are some of key information. There are several key informations inside that document that we can leverage on in our personal life aside being a volunteer of Hope for Us charity. Some of us are researchers. We may be looking for some key facts, some figures to guide your thoughts and to guide what you are researching about. So I believe this is one of the valuable documents for you to bank on and for you to extract important information from. So on behalf of the president and the founder of this organization, I want to appreciate the YMCA Nigeria for partnering with us and for this golden opportunity to give us to add our voice to these documents. I believe in our own little way, our voice has been heard, and it's not only heard alone, it's now been seen as a youth-led organization, which area of advocacy is into health and education. And also want to appreciate some of our volunteers who turn in I believe it's because of the network itch. So people are just coming and going, and I believe it's because maybe some people went to O and West, that's why. So we ought to have a larger house than this. But I believe it's not by number, it's by action. And I hope, Mr. Israel, in a little way, we have convinced you and we have added our voice to this document. So thank you
Very
very
correct, sir.
much,
Very
guys.
correct, sir.
Hello?
I said very correct, sir. You added
All
your
right.
voice and it's
Thank you
noted.
very much. Thank you very much for that affirmation. So I really, really, really appreciate. And to all our volunteers, to all our guys, really, really appreciate you. And as you can see, in Africa, we have a document to work with. So which means what we are doing as an organization is not a misplace of priority. And as you can see, inside the document that was presented to us, a list of things were itemized. And I believe whatever we are doing should be within this niche, and which means, like Udeme said, he said that he got to know about that document in 2018. So that was like few years it was enacted. I got to know about this document about a few weeks ago when I'm having an engagement with Israel. So I don't know this kind of document exists. And like I said while I was welcoming us, I believe this is a better document for us to work with, even more than agenda the SDG goals, because we ought to see this document as our own. SDG goals talks about the whole world as a whole, but these documents carve a niche for us as an African, and we need to domesticate it. Hope for Us charity, our focus is for Africa, but at the moment our operation is Nigerian based, though we also have a chapter in Puerto Rico, very close to United States of America. So thank you very much once again, Mr. Israel, for your wonderful presentation and for counting us worthy to add our voice to this document as an organization. On this note, I want to appreciate every one of us for coming around to make this event very, very possible. So let's keep staying safe. Coronavirus is real. So like I do say in some of my posts, we can only provide hope for a better tomorrow if we are staying safe. It's only those who stay safe that can provide a better tomorrow that we envisage as an organization. Thank you very much. So let's call it a day with this program. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.